The challenge is giving a voice to your particular brand versus the other brand across the street that's still the same OEM. How do you make that different? How do you have enough time? How do you hire enough people to create the content that is necessary to cut through the clutter, let's say? So what we do, our platform is a marketing suite of tools that give dealerships back time.
Welcome to the Strategy with Jason podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It's Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me another episode of The Drive. I'm in sunny Newport Beach, California. Thank you, Evolution Media Group, for bringing me out here and allowing me to do some awesome content. I have the one, the only, the oh so famous Andrew with AET. What's up, man? How you doing?
Did you like that intro? What an intro. I am freaking honored to be here. I'm trying not to cuss too much.
Dude, this is an automotive podcast. Are you kidding me? That's all 4-letter words and 3-letter acronyms. That's the industry.
Yeah, got to keep up.
Look, I'm glad we got a chance to come out and do this podcast. We've connected so many times over so many events over the years, and I'm just like, yeah, man, let's go do this. So I'm super excited. But for everybody out there watching and listening right now who don't know who you are, I love kicking off these podcasts with a little origin story. Because Andrew, I'm just fundamentally fascinated myself. How did you get started in this crazy little world we call the automotive industry?
Well, a little complicated story. I think you've been there from almost our origins, but what we wanted to do is give the dealers the power of their marketing and be able to turn over. We live in a day where instant gratification is no longer a luxury, it's expected. And our tool allows dealers, if you got Nissan Armadas on the lot, whatever your aging inventory, you can produce that in real time. So we have ads on demand for the auto dealership. You don't have to run it through the phone line of an agency. We give that power to the dealer. So that was our focus and solving for creative, because there's a huge month to month the sales events.
Sure.
Every OEM has their co-op compliance, everything like that. We simplified it. We baked it in to a platform where dealers can do it on their own as they need. Speed, what they need based on cars on lot. We help dealerships move metal.
So, dude, I'm curious because, I think it's super cool tech, and I'm really kind of excited to kind of get into it, with you, right? But what was that? Now that is cool. Sorry, guys, we were driving through Newport Beach, California, and there are going to be some cool cars, and sometimes we're going to go squirrels, so I apologize in advance. But what was, for you guys, what was that aha moment? What was here's the problem we're seeing in the industry, and here's how we're going to set out to kind of solve that. What was that for you guys?
The telephone game. I mean, if you need an adjustment in your ads, how fast can that turn around for your ads to be to market? So what we solved for was speed to market. If you've got inventory, you want to move metal, I would question if there's a better product for speed to market to get visibility on your inventory. Whether that's used cars, new cars, it doesn't matter. We kind of had to solve for that during the COVID crisis or pandemic. But we give the power for the dealership to do that without the middleman.
Well, and I love the speed thing because I can see that. I was a marketer for my dealership for many, many years, right? And, one of the things that are always difficult, and I worked with one of those OEMs that would love to change shit right in the middle of the month as well. So it's it's just constantly how long it would take, once from the moment we got the incentives to, getting that creative out there. It was a good chunk of time. I remember one point in time I was the chief marketing officer for a relatively large group. We were about 36 locations, and you want to try to do that for 36 locations, even with a decent team. It was a lot. The first week of the month was it was hell for us, right? Just trying to get everything updated and get it done so quickly. So I think it's cool that you guys set out. You saw that as a problem, and you're like, hey, we have a solution that's going to solve for that. So I always like kind of wish I was a fly on the wall during this kind of conversation for you guys. Like, what was like, okay, this is the problem, and this is how we're going to solve that. How did that kind of go down for you guys?
Well, think about where marketing is evolving. You have so many different channels. Like TikTok came out in, I don't want to say nowhere, but it became the social media, like the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
If you're not on TikTok, but where's that going to stop? It's ever expanding in the digital realm. How do you keep up with that while making content that crushes? Ads are a necessary evil, and you have to do that. You should not be taking your creative mindset away from creating content to make ads. So we saw that for the dealership, to check those boxes for the OEM compliance, for all that stuff, to give the power back to the marketers to build the brand of the dealership. Because if you're not building the brand of the dealership, I don't think it's a secret now. You're 10 years behind.
No, I'm so glad that you kind of brought that up, right? Because, creatively for a very long time, most agencies or most dealerships were just kind of at the mercy of the manufacturer, and you take whatever they sent you and pretty much dice it into as many different sizes as you could, and it didn't always translate out very well. But again, to your point, that's the manufacturer's brand. That's not my dealer's brand, and every dealership's got a different vibe and a different personality, and that needs to come out creatively, right?
Yeah, you have limitations on what OEM brand or what franchise you're in, and you have to play by their guidelines or their rule book.
Yes.
But you also, the challenge is giving a voice to your particular brand versus the other brand across the street that's still the same OEM. How do you make that different? How do you have enough time? How do you hire enough people to create the content that is necessary to cut through the clutter, let's say? So what we do, our platform is a marketing suite of tools that give dealerships back time. It doesn't matter if you're a marketer or a GM who needs to make an adjustment to ads or pricing, or let's take a very specific example. Some of the EV leases or incentives that come out. The Ford Mach-E, 15 grand off.
Sure.
It's working, right? How can you get that mid-month when it comes out, when Ford realizes, like, we need to move metal? You got to go to an agency.
Let
me ask you how long that would take from your perspective as a former dealer.
Oh, dude, it'd take at least a few days for them to kind of come back to me, something that I'm ultimately going to end up proving, and then when it's proved, then it's got to go to the media execution team, and they got to, dude, at least a few days, maybe if I'm lucky 2, right? But still, it takes time. But here's the other thing I think that's super cool about your guys' solution is that I can easily build a set of ads, but then just make some slight modifications to it so I can do some real A/B testing out there. And the reason I'm able to do it so easily with you guys' solution is because it's so bloody fast, right? Like, it's, if I wanted to make, let's say, 2 or 3 different pieces of creative to just test and see what is engaging, dude, I was struggling to get one set of creative out, or my agency was struggling to get one set of creative out, let alone 2 or 3. And I think you guys have really kind of nailed that down. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. That's the problem we were solving for. I mean, a lot of times in the dealerships, you have the creative person, and then you have the kind of financial person. What incentives are we giving out there? So our platform allows people, the creative person, to go in, make the ad for whatever car you want, whatever you have on lot. And if you need to tailor the offers, the sales event offers, to your specific community, your region, the GSM or whoever does that role in the dealership can come in after and just plug in some numbers. You have an ad ready to roll.
Well, and I'm glad that you brought up, like, the community in your region, because I just think for people watching and listening out there, how many times have you got creative from the manufacturer and in the background is like this sunny, picturesque desert? but your dealership is in Buffalo, New York. Like,
that hits home. So and Jeff Gonzalez got me into this business. I'm an outsider coming into auto because he showed me the dysfunction there was between the creative agencies and the actual dealerships. I literally saw snow for a Toyota 4Runner ad for a Tampa dealership, and he showed me that as an example why there's white space for us to develop our product and make life easier for dealers.
right?
And
It's a disconnect. It's a disconnect, and I understand the manufacturers. That's tough. All right. I mean, they're funny. The funny thing is they actually have the same problem the dealers have. It's like trying to create content at scale that's going to work in every single geographic area or community, and like you said, also community. I mean, I can also create not just English ads. I can also create multiple language ads as well, right? And I think that's a big thing to be able to do those side by side with each other. Where else am I going to be able to do that?
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point. There's a lot of AI tools and a lot of automation tools out there, but no one knows your dealership. No one knows your customers better than your salespeople, better than your fixed ops people. So if you're able to take that information, customers tell you what they want to be sold, how they want to be sold. There's no ad agency that's going to be able to replicate that message better than your actual dealership. So our philosophy was, let's make it easier for you to communicate that message in your ads, because you know what your community, what your neighborhood, the patrons of your dealership are buying, what and how they want to be sold, the language that they're using. So we give you the power to speak that.
Well, no. And you're touching on a subject, and I want to get back to the AI, but first I want to get into this because we're in this age of marketing where audience is the most important factor to a successful marketing campaign. There is, we're done are the days of a one size fits all marketing strategy. I mean, it's funny. It's like if I got to run a promotion for like an F-150, well, I could potentially have 5 different audiences, all right, that I need to communicate this message to. And in the past, to be able to efficiently create 5 different pieces of content that's going to kind of speak to those people as individuals is damn near impossible. And I think that's a lot of reasons why dealers never kind of went down that path of very audience-specific creative. You guys have cracked the code on that.
We're at the cusp of cracking the code. I think
so. Let's get into that, because now we're opening the door. Yes, we're opening up that can of worms that is AI, and you guys are doing some cool stuff with it. But I just kind of like first off to get your just general opinion of just where AI is and how dealerships can benefit from the technology.
Well, I mean, AI is the new buzzword in the industry, especially after NIDA 2 years ago was digital retailing, and then AI is only as good as the database or the information that feeds it, right? So we're coming up on our 5-year anniversary. We're not a huge agency, but we power over 500 dealerships for 5 years, and seeing where that creative, how other dealerships make ads that are effective and then reuse those ads, we were able to train our own AI, and it's a blanket term that I hate using.
I know.
We were able to train our own AI to do predictive modeling. So we're
from a creative perspective.
Yeah,
that's so freaking cool.
We're coming, well, not just creative, but imagine trying to pair up the data with the creative.
Oh, okay. Walk me through that strategy, because I dig that.
So coming out, I might be divulging some stuff that
that's what happens on these podcasts. It happens all the time.
Very shortly. I don't know the timetable. I'm sorry, development team, but imagine you had your own assistant picking out the audience that you need for the specific ad that you're running. So what are we going by? That looks like a Camry. So if you have 5 Camrys on the lot, and they're aging, they're getting to the 28 days, or if you're not moving the metal like you thought you would, you could go ask our intelligence, what audience do I need to pair with my ad to move this car? Based on historical data and tying into DMS systems, but also
okay. So this is a combination of both existing customer data and then also additional data sets like Polk, or is other data sets out there?
Polk, M1, Oracle. We partner with anyone. We want to be the marketplace where people can come in for dealers to do cool. I don't want to say shit, but I did.
No, do it. We do cool shit. There we go. I said it for you.
So if that makes sense, we want to be a marketplace where dealers can facilitate their ads, but also their data, but in real time too.
So really kind of connecting the dots, kind of bringing in that ecosystems together. Because in the past, they were kind of two different silos, right? Like I would have to go kind of create my audience from my data provider or from my DMS. Then I had to go to the creative. But what you guys are talking about here is you kind of combine these two and kind of in a singular ecosystem.
We take away the wizard behind the curtain, like like Wizard of Oz type scenario. We give the dealership the power to do all that, what they need. Historically, they would just kind of put a plan and a wish to the agency and take their results as we got it done. Now we put them in control. We give them the foot on the, I can't say gas pedal, but accelerator now. And it's power to the brand and the dealers. Whatever you need to use it for, it's flexible, it's nimble, it allows for, again, instant gratification.
It's efficient. That's what I think the key is. Like, it's efficient. It's taken something that was always time consuming and difficult to kind of do, but we know what the best practice were, and it makes it more efficient. And man, it's so relevant right now. I mean, we were sitting in a session earlier today where they were talking about cookies and the death of the cookies, and and for you out there watching and listening right now, why is that important? Because look, our industry has built marketing strategies over the years that have focused on remarketing to individuals at just monster amount of frequencies, and we're losing a lot of that. So I actually kind of get excited about this as a marketer, because it's now switching the tides where the creative is equally is almost more important than just be able to put ads out there in mass in just high frequency. So it's like, creative and audience targeting are more important now than ever, and I get excited about that stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a fly fishing term. I'm gonna lose a lot of your audience right there, but you match the hatch. What's floating in the river? What's your fish want to eat? I
love that you brought up a fishing analogy. Keep going.
So we match the hatch. You have a 4Runner ad in Colorado versus a 4Runner ad in Tampa, Florida, and then you pair the data behind that, make it fit their community, make it fit their lifestyle. That will speak to the end user, and the dealership has that power with our tool. And with everyone coming out of college with social media degrees now, I touched on that just one chapter 20 years ago with social media, and now people have full degrees with it. They are prepared. Your workforce that you need to be hiring expects this tool, and they're using industry agnostic tools. The difference between us and Canva is we have your OEM preloaded assets, the hex colors, the makes, models, and trims. It would take you, your dealership could do that on other platforms, but it would take you a year to build out. And after you have that done, 2025s are released, right? So we take care of that easy button for you. We partner with Polk, Oracle, M1, and we allow you to match the hatch. Yes. And the audience, the creative, everything matters. And marketing details matter, right?
Well, it's the little things. And look, I think if you're out there watching or listening to this podcast right now, if your marketing strategy right now is not data driven, then you're not matching the hatch. You're not like using your fly fishing term. By the way, I think this is what I'm going to name this podcast. Matching the hatch. I love it. But no, you're absolutely right. Like you got to know what the fish wants. You need to put what's out there. But this is what we have. These are the tools, the power that we have as an industry, to be able to do is just like match the hatch. We match the creative to those individuals, and you guys have made that opportunity to do it at scale, and I think that's phenomenal. Look, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our time, and we could definitely dive a lot farther into creative strategies.
We opened up a little.
We opened up a little bit of a can of worms there, but for everybody out there watching and listening right now who would maybe like to continue this conversation, learn more about what you guys are up to, what's the best way to connect?
Go AET Automotive. We got a free trial. Click some buttons, try it out, see if it works for you. If you've got some comments, this is a dealer-based tool. We took dealer pain points on creative and we make it better. With us, you have an ear to the developer, you have an ear to the marketer to make your product better, and that's where we've kind of carved out our niche in the auto industry. So
and I think you guys
try it out,
AETautomotive.com,
free trial. We'll give you 7 days. If you need more, contact Andrew at AET Automotive.
Just ask him.
Should I give my? I won't give my cell number. But.
Andrew, man, thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me today. This has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
Always.
For everybody out there watching, listening right now, we appreciate you to take the time to check this out. You have yourself an amazing day.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy with Jason podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy